Okay, in this video, I'll quickly show you an upgrade of an API APIC cluster. As you can see, I have a cluster which has just a single controller, but that's enough for just this demo. I'll just quickly look around in terms of what's the current version of the APIC controller. It's actually running 1.13f, and we would like to upgrade it to 1.2, the recommended version on 1.2. So just quickly glancing over it, the recommended version on 1.2 branch is 1.23h. Just quickly even glancing through the release notes, we can see that we can upgrade to 1.2 from 1.1.3 directly. There's no prerequisites required. The only thing to note is basically the procedure. You need to upgrade the APICs first, followed it up with an upgrade on the switches. Just to save time in the video, I have already downloaded the required files. So this is the APIC controller ISO file, which will be required to upgrade the APIC, and there is an bin file which will be required to upgrade the switches, both the spine switches as well as the leaf switches. I've already downloaded, and it's already there. Um, just to quickly show that the system has a lot of configurations. Says a lot of configurations in terms of tenants, and even if you look at some of the fabric policies, it has a lot of definitions of fabric policies and profiles. Um, this is to basically show that after the upgrade, there is no disturbance to the existing policies and the upgrades generally smooth. So what we'll do is quickly run to the admin tab. And what you need to do is go to the firmware tab within the admin tab. Now, first thing that you need to do is go to the download task and download the required softwares. Okay, so what I'm going to do is basically create a new outside firmware source. The source name could be anything, so I will just quickly show it as switch software. And then I'm using a HTTP because I have an HTTP server. I have loaded the required files in an HTTP server. Um, it's actually there in my uh, this this is the address of that HTTP server. I'm gonna do that, and this is the path. And what I'm gonna do is quickly check what's the image name. I'm just gonna put it as bin, and I'm gonna just say submit. The moment I do submit, this gets saved, and you can go to the operational tab to see whether it's getting downloaded from the HTTP servers. You can see the download percent is increasing, and it's basically downloading the software. So currently I've done it for switch software. Similarly, we'll have to do it for the APIC ISO as well. So we'll just give it a minute or so to get it uploaded, and once it gets uploaded, you can see the files on the firmware repository. So in the meantime, we can create another outside firmware source, which would mostly be the same, but we'll just call it an APIC software, and I'll do an HTTP, and I'll just this is I'll have to just use the web server IP address. Just use the web server IP address, and the path is downloads, and the file name is epic.iso. So I'm going to quickly do a submit. As you can see, the download has started. If you can see that the switch software is completely downloaded, and the APIC software is being uploaded to the firmware. In the meantime, we can just go to the firmware repository, and you can see that the switch software has already been uploaded to the system. I'll just go to the download task again, and we'll go to the operational tab and see what's the status of the APIC software download. So it's downloading, and we'll just give it a minute for it to get completely downloaded onto the APIC. Both of them showing as 100%, so we can just quickly check in the firmware repository, and we can see that we have both the APIC software, which is the 1.23h, and we also have the switch software. There's also a catalog software which comes bundled along with the APIC software here. The first thing that we need to do is, as we saw, we need to first upgrade the APIC. So we just go to the controller firmware here, and we will create a controller upgrade controller firmware policy. I'll just create that. We can just mention what's the target firmware version, and you can either schedule it to be upgraded at a specific time. For this demo, we'll just do it now. I'll just do a submit. And they meant you see that the firmware upgrade has been scheduled, and it's basically in progress. You can see the status of the upgrade here. The APIC upgrade generally takes about 10 to 15 minutes, so we'll just wait. I'm going to pause the video and return once the update progress here shows 100%. Now, since the APIC controller is being upgraded, what I will do is utilize this time to basically create the firmware policies for the Fabric nodes. So we'll just quickly go to the Fabric nodes, and there are, if you can see, there are two groups, firmware groups as well as maintenance groups. The firmware group is basically the group of what the firmware version that you're going to load into those devices. The maintenance group is something very important. What you can do is actually split your devices into different maintenance groups. Generally, what people do is have a maintenance group for all the even numbers of switches and one maintenance group for all the odd number of switches. In this way, when you apply the upgrade, it actually upgrades all the odd number of switches, and then it will upgrade all the even number of switches, and thus you can do a seamless or a hitless upgrade of the system. So we'll just quickly create a firmware group. We'll just call this group 1.2 um, 3H. The target firmware version will be those things, and it will show you the group IDs. So in my case, there are only two node IDs, so I'm gonna basically use both the IDs here. We'll have 500 and I think 601, just to 500 and 601, one firmware group. Then I'm gonna create a maintenance group. As I said, we can create one maintenance group for odd number of switches and one for even number of switches. Since in my topology I have only one spine and one leaf, I'm going to create a separate maintenance group for the leaf and separate maintenance group for the spine. You can also do it if you're too worried in terms of how exactly the upgrade needs to happen. You can create a maintenance group for individual devices. So I'm just going to call it leaf 1 and say run mode. I'll just say pause upon upgrade failure. I'm going to say what is my switch ID here, which is 500, and I'm not going to set any schedule. I'm just going to say submit. Okay, so it just goes there. I'll create another maintenance group called spine 1, and I'm gonna make this the group ID of 601. I'm gonna submit. If you can see here now, all the maintenance groups, the nodes are assigned to one of the maintenance groups. The leaf node is assigned to leaf 1 maintenance group, and the spine node is assigned to spine 1 maintenance group. And then we can actually go and schedule this, but let's bring up the controller first. The controller is already getting upgraded, and I'll lose connection to the controller since I have only one controller. In a general case, you will have three controllers in the cluster, and you do it one controller after other. The APIC actually schedules the upgrade in such a way that it upgrades each controller one at a time. And if you're logged into one of the controllers to which the upgrade is happening, you lose the connectivity to that controller, and then you have to re-log in, or you use another controller to basically log in. So we'll just wait for the controller to get upgraded, and then we will basically also schedule the upgrade for the switches. Now, since we have defined the maintenance as well as the firmware groups, we'll just wait and we'll just apply those maintenance groups once the controller upgrade is complete. So again, I'm going to just pause the video for some time till the time the controller is upgraded. I will lose connectivity to the controller as well. And once the controller is up and running, we can schedule the leaf and the spine upgrades. What we'll do is I'll also quickly run a ping to the controller just to ensure or just to check when the controller comes up after the reboot of the upgrade. So currently it is pinging. Once it moves to 100% and it starts to reboot, we lose connectivity, and I will relog into the controller once the connectivity is established back again. Okay, so as you can see, I've started getting errors. That means the services are getting restarted, and the APIC will eventually go into a reboot. Um, so so now you can see the request, the ping to the APIC is now timing out. That means it's actually undergoing a reboot. Um, so I think we should be able to log into the APIC once the ping resumes. Maybe give it a few minutes after the ping resumes, and then you should be able to log back in to the APIC controller. The APIC currently turns out that it throws an error if you try to log in, and let it come up, and then we'll log in back to the APIC again. So as you can see, the ping to the APIC has resumed. So we'll try to log into the APIC in a few minutes. Um, as you can see, 1.2 has a new GUI. There are a couple of two ways to actually connect to the GUI. One is the advanced way, which is more or less similar to the existing version, and there is also a simple GUI for task doing simplicity, where it hides all the complexities in the background in terms of the uh, uh, interface policies and profiles. So once the services are up, you should be able to get a login screen to the Epic, and we'll just wait for the Epic to fully come up. So now we have our screen. So we'll quickly log into the Epic. As you can see, the Epic has been upgraded. Um, okay, and if you can quickly check what's the version that is running, it's actually running 1.2.3 Edge. And just to show you that the configurations were still there, we'll just quickly go to the tenants. All the tenants are still available. And if you go to the fabric and access policies, you will see that the policies are there as well, whatever policies were there earlier. So there's no change in those policies. So now we have upgraded the APIC. Now it's time to basically upgrade our switches. So we'll quickly go back to the admin tab, and go to the firmware tab again. And we had already created our maintenance and firmware groups, which is already there. So all we need to do is basically maybe first upgrade the spine. We'll go to the spine maintenance group, and you can see that the upgrade process is 0. So we'll just do a right click, and we'll say upgrade now. This puts the spine upgrade in progress, and you can see that the spine is getting upgraded. So again, we will come back. I'm going to pause the video for some time, and till the time the upgrade process becomes complete. So as you can see now, the spine has been successfully upgraded. It shows 100%. You can quickly go and do an upgrade of the leaf as well now. So we have only one leaf. I'm just going to leaf 1. I'm just going to say right click and upgrade now. So this will schedule the leaf upgrades, and again going to pause the video and then come back once the upgrade is complete. Yeah, you can see now that the leaf has been also been upgraded. You can see that both of those firmware groups, both the leaf and the spine has been upgraded. You can view the same in the fabric tab. You can go to the fabric membership or the pods, and you can just click and you can verify in the general tab that the firmware now what is running is 11.2, and this is also 11.2. And that's it, and you can see the topology is still there, and that's it. This concludes our demo video for the ACI upgrade.